Journey to the Last Haven. Chapter 1. A Faded Map. In a time not too far from now, the world has withered into a barren wasteland. The lands, once teeming with life, now lay desolate, blanketed by the dust of forgotten civilizations. Humanity clings to survival in a few habitable areas ruled with an iron fist by the ruthless dictator Magnus Creel. Modern technology is a myth, existing only in the form of relics scavenged by those desperate enough to venture into the wild. Amidst this harsh reality, two teenagers, Alex and Lila, have grown up together in the oppressive society of Aridia. Friends since childhood, their bond forged through shared hardship, they have always dreamed of a better life. A place where freedom isn't just a fantasy. One day, while rummaging through the ruins of an old library, they stumble upon a tattered map and a series of cryptic clues hinting at the existence of a hidden utopia known as the Last Haven. The library, though in ruins, still holds a certain air of mystery. Dusty tomes and scrolls are scattered across the floor, and the once grand architecture tells stories of a time long gone. As they dig through the remnants, they find themselves surrounded by the eerie silence of the forgotten past, feeling the weight of history bearing down on them. The map is old, its edges frayed and its ink faded. It shows landmarks they barely recognize, distorted by time and the changing landscape. As they study it, they realize the first clue is hidden in a book of riddles they found alongside the map. The riddle speaks of a place where shadows dance and the past whispers secrets, directing them to an abandoned city on the outskirts of Aridia. Determined to escape Creel's tyranny, they embark on a perilous journey, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. The clues are both physical and psychological, testing their wit, courage, and the strength of their friendship. Each step away from Aridia feels like a step towards hope, despite the dangers that lurk beyond their familiar world. Chapter 2. The Abandoned City. The first clue leads them to an abandoned city where they have to discover an ancient device capable of projecting holographic messages. The city, once bustling with life, is now eerily quiet. Broken windows and crumbling buildings are all that remain of what was once a thriving metropolis. The silence is broken only by the distant howls of wild animals and the occasional creak of a collapsing structure. The abandoned city is filled with hidden dangers, from collapsing buildings to packs of wild animals that have claimed the ruins as their territory. They have several close calls with these animals, often hearing them before seeing them. Each night, they huddle together for warmth and security, their bond growing stronger with each shared story and whispered hope. They talk about their dreams and fears, finding solace in each other's presence. As they explore, they find themselves navigating through narrow alleys filled with debris. They come across old shops and homes, each one telling a story of sudden abandonment. Inside the dilapidated library, they find the ancient device. Its surface is covered in dust, and it takes them several attempts to get it working. When the holographic message finally appears, it's a flickering image of a person from the old world. The figure, dressed in ancient garb, speaks in a language that seems archaic yet familiar. The message reveals their next clue, a riddle about a mirror that shows the soul. The hologram flickers and fades, leaving them in the dim light of the abandoned building. The message mentions the location of the next clue, pointing them towards the Crystal Cavern, a place rumored to hold ancient secrets and reflective pools that show visions of the past. Alex and Lila realize that the cavern could provide them with the insight needed to decipher the rest of the map and continue their journey. The holographic figure had described the cavern as a place where the old world's wisdom had been safeguarded, hinting that their path to the Last Haven required not only physical endurance, but also an understanding of the past. Determined to uncover these secrets, they decide to head to the Crystal Cavern, hoping it will guide them closer to the utopia they seek. Chapter 3. Reflections and Revelations. Their journey to the cavern adorned with crystals is fraught with peril. They navigate through treacherous landscapes, avoiding the roving patrols of Creel's enforcers. These enforcers are relentless, and their presence is marked by the distinctive sound of their heavy boots and the metallic clink of their weapons. Alex and Lila have to be constantly on alert, using their knowledge of the terrain to stay hidden. Once they find the cavern and go inside it, they find a reflective pool. The cavern is a breathtaking sight, with crystals of various sizes and colors reflecting light in a mesmerizing display. The air is cool and damp, a stark contrast to the arid world outside. When Alex peers into the water, he sees not his own reflection, but images of his past, moments of bravery and kindness. The pool's surface ripples with each memory as if alive. The pool reveals the way forward, a hidden path behind a waterfall nearby. To unlock this path, they must first solve a complex puzzle inscribed on the cavern walls. The puzzle is an intricate mosaic of symbols and images, each one telling a part of the story. It takes them hours of meticulous observation and collaboration, deciphering ancient symbols and connecting them with the holographic message they found earlier. They work tirelessly, their fingers tracing the carvings and their minds piecing together the fragments of history. The puzzle seems to come alive under their touch, each solved section revealing more of the hidden path. The challenge tests their patience and teamwork, but they persevere, driven by the hope of what lies ahead. As the final piece of the puzzle clicks into place, the cavern trembles slightly. A section of the wall slides open, revealing a narrow passage behind the waterfall. The sound of rushing water fills the cavern, and the cool mist envelops them as they step through the hidden entrance. Chapter 4: Trials of the Mind. As they delve deeper into uncharted territories, the challenges become more intense. They face psychological trials that force them to confront their deepest fears and insecurities. One such trial involves a maze of mirrors that distorts reality, making them question what is real and what is illusion. The maze is a labyrinth of polished surfaces, each one reflecting their images in an eerie, distorted way. The reflections taunt them with visions of their failures and darkest fears. Alex sees his worst moments replayed, from times he felt powerless to protect those he loved to moments of self-doubt that have haunted him for years. Lila sees visions of her family lost to Creel's brutal regime, their faces filled with accusation and sorrow. They must rely on each other to navigate through the maze, their trust tested to the limits. At one point, they become separated, the mirrors creating false paths and echoes that lead them astray. Panic sets in as they call out for each other, their voices bouncing back in confusing, distorted ways. Alex, determined to find Lila, focuses on the sound of her voice, filtering out the false echoes. He finally sees her reflection in a distant mirror, looking lost and scared. He reaches out, touching the surface of the mirror, and it dissolves, reuniting them. Together, they manage to find the true path by trusting in each other, their hands tightly clasped as they navigate the remaining twists and turns of the maze. Chapter 5: Desert Perils. The physical challenges also grow more daunting. They traverse a desert where the scorching sun beats down mercilessly. The heat is oppressive, making every step like a monumental effort. They ration their limited water supplies carefully, each drop precious in the relentless heat. Using makeshift shelters to survive the nights, they huddle together for warmth as the desert temperatures plummets after the sunset. They encounter a group of nomads, who after initial mistrust, provide them with vital information and supplies in exchange for a relic they found in the abandoned city. The nomads are a hardy people, their skin weathered by the sun and their eyes sharp with wisdom. They share stories of their travels, tales of hidden oases and ancient ruins. This encounter reinforces their resolve, showing them that not all hope is lost in the world outside Aridia. In the expansive desert, they face sandstorms that whip through the landscape without warning. These storms obscure their vision and make it nearly impossible to find shelter. At one point, they must dig themselves into the sand to avoid being swept away by the fierce winds. The sandstorms are terrifying, with howling winds and stinging sand that feels like it's tearing at their skin. As they hunker down, waiting for the storm to pass, they hear strange sounds, whispers carried by the wind, ancient voices echoing through the desert. These sounds add to the surreal and nightmarish quality of their journey, making them question their own sanity at times. When the storm finally abates, they emerge from their sandy refuge, covered in grit, but grateful to be alive. Chapter 6: The Desert Fortress. They come across an ancient, decrepit fortress that houses a dangerous gang of raiders. Forced to sneak to avoid detection, they witness the gang's brutal lifestyle, a stark reminder of the lawlessness beyond Creel's controlled zones. When they first spot the fortress on the horizon, Alex and Lila are both relieved and wary. The structure, half buried in the sand, looks like it has been cobbled together from the remnants of old world buildings. It stands as a grim testament of the survival of the fittest, a place where only the ruthless thrive. Knowing they need to pass through the fortress to reach their next destination, they decide to proceed cautiously. Under the cover of night, they approach the fortress walls, which are guarded by makeshift watchtowers manned by the raiders. Using the darkness to their advantage, they scale a less guarded section of the wall, their hearts pounding with the fear of being discovered. Once inside, they move through the shadows, witnessing scenes of savagery and despair. The raiders, hardened by years of living in the wasteland, enforce their rule through violence and fear. In the center of the fortress, they find a large courtyard where the raiders have set up a trading post. Here, scavengers from across the desert come to barter goods, mostly stolen or scavenged, from other survivors. The sight of so many people all trying to eke out an existence in such a harsh environment is both disheartening and motivating for Alex and Lila. They realize just how desperate people are outside of Aridia, and it strengthens the resolve to find the last haven. While moving through the fortress, they overhear a conversation about a valuable artifact the raiders recently acquired. This piques their interest, and they decide to find out more, hoping it might be another clue or something useful for their journey. They follow the voices to a dimly lit room where they see a group of raiders examining an old-world device. It's a compass, but not an ordinary one. It's a digital compass that still seems to function. Determined to retrieve the compass, Alex and Lila formulate a plan. They wait until the raiders leave the room, then sneak inside to take the device. However, just as Alex grabs the compass, they are discovered by one of the raiders. A tense chase ensues through the narrow, winding corridors of the fortress. They dart through storerooms and workshops, narrowly avoiding capture several times. The labyrinthine structure of the fortress works to their advantage, as they manage to lose their pursuers in the maze-like passages. In their frantic escape, they stumble upon a young girl named Zara, who had been held captive by the raiders. Zara pleads with them to take her with them, explaining that she knows a secret way out of the fortress. With no time to lose, they agree. Zara leads them through a series of hidden tunnels and forgotten passages that eventually open up to the outside. Once they are safely away from the fortress, Zara tells them about her own search for the last haven. She shares a crucial piece of information, a fragment of a map that indicates the next leg of their journey. In gratitude for saving her, Zara decides to accompany them, offering her knowledge of the desert and survival skills to aid their quest. Chapter 7: The Petrified Forest. Their path leads them to a forest of petrified trees, their twisted forms casting eerie shadows. The forest is a haunting place, with trees that look like they have been frozen in time, their branches reaching out like skeletal arms. The ground is littered with shards of petrified wood, and the air is thick with a strange, earthy scent. In the heart of the forest, they uncover an old, functioning observatory. The observatory is a marvel of ancient engineering, with its massive telescope still intact and its walls lined with star charts and celestial maps. Inside, they find star charts and maps that hint at celestial alignments crucial for decoding their next clue. As they study these maps, they are attacked by mutated creatures that blend into the rocky terrain. The creatures are grotesque, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes that pierce the darkness. They fend off the creatures using makeshift weapons, their teamwork and quick thinking saving them from certain doom. The battle is fierce, with creatures attacking in waves. Alex and Lila fight side by side, their movements synchronized from months of training and survival together. Zara, the girl they rescued from the desert fortress, proves to be a valuable ally, her knowledge of the forest and its dangers helping them hold their ground. Once the creatures are defeated, they secure the observatory and set up camp inside. The safety of the walls and the comfort of the ancient relics provide a brief respite from their journey. As they rest, they pore over the star charts, connecting the dots between the celestial alignments and the clues they have gathered so far. Chapter 8. The Temple of Illusions. With the information gathered from the observatory, they are able to map a route to an ancient temple. Here they are confronted by illusions of loved ones, urging them to abandon their quest. The temple is a place of great beauty and mystery, with walls covered in intricate carvings and floors made of polished stone. The illusions are so lifelike that Lila nearly succumbs, breaking down in tears as she reaches out to the mirage of her deceased mother. The illusion speaks in her mother's voice, telling her that the quest is futile and that she should return home. Lila's resolve wavers, her heart breaking at the sight of her mother. Alex's firm grip and unwavering belief in their mission pull her back from the brink. He speaks to her with a calm, steady voice, reminding her of the reasons they started this journey in the first place and the hope they carry for a better future. His words cut through the illusion, and Lila sees it for what it is, a trick designed to break their spirits. Suddenly, Zara, who has been their guide and companion since the desert fortress, is overwhelmed by a vision of her own deepest fears. Her face pales and her breathing quickens. Before Alex and Lila can react, Zara lets out a terrified scream and bolts from the temple, her footsteps echoing down the stone corridors. Alex and Lila call after her, but she is already gone, her figure disappearing into the shadows. They search briefly but realize they must continue their journey without her. The loss of Zara weighs heavily on them, adding to the emotional burden of their quest. Thus, they press on, their bond stronger for having faced their deepest fears. The temple's halls are filled with other illusions, each one tailored to their individual fears and doubts. They navigate these challenges by relying on their trust in each other, using logic and intuition to see through the deceptions. However, as the journey grows tougher, Lila, haunted by the fear of failure, begins to doubt their quest. Despite Alex's encouragement, the weight of their mission becomes too much for her. Convinced that the last haven is just a cruel myth, she decides to return to Aridia. Alex tries to persuade her to stay, but Lila's mind is set, her spirit broken by the relentless challenges they face. Chapter 9. Alone and Determined. Heartbroken but resolute, Alex continues alone. The departure of Lila leaves a void in his heart, but he channels his sadness into determination. The landscapes he navigates become even more treacherous, filled with rocky cliffs and narrow passes that test his physical endurance and mental fortitude. Alex narrowly escapes Creel's patrols on multiple occasions. The patrols are relentless, equipped with advanced technology that makes evasion difficult. He uses the terrain to his advantage, hiding in caves and using natural obstacles to obscure his trail. His survival instincts, honed from years on the run, keep him one step ahead of his pursuers. Each step forward fuels his determination. The final clue leads him to a hidden valley, lush and vibrant in stark contrast to the world he knows. The valley is like a paradise, with clear streams with abundant wildlife, and at its heart lies the last haven, a city of peace and prosperity, untouched by Creel's reach. Alex's arrival is met with astonishment. The inhabitants, descendants of those who built the city, welcome him warmly. They teach him their ways, sharing knowledge and technology preserved through generations. The last haven is a marvel of engineering and sustainability, with buildings that blend seamlessly into the natural landscape and technology that harnesses renewable energy sources. Alex is transformed by the experience, finding not only the utopia he sought, but also a sense of purpose and belonging. He learns about the history of the last haven, its founding principles, and the sacrifices made to keep it hidden from the outside world. The knowledge and skills he gains prepares him for the challenges ahead, fueling his desire to liberate Aridia and share the hope he has found. Chapter 10. The Rebellion. Back in Aridia, Lila is racked with guilt and regret. She resumes her life under Creel's regime, but the memories of their journey and Alex's unwavering faith haunt her. News of a rebellion brewing gives her hope. Inspired by Alex's courage, she joins the resistance, determined to fight for the dream they once shared. Years later, the rebellion gains momentum, challenging Creel's rule. In the final battle, as the forces of freedom clash with the dictator's army, Lila sees a familiar figure leading the charge from the other side. It's Alex, returned from the Last Haven with allies and advanced technology. Their reunion is bittersweet and powerful, but together they inspire the rebels to overthrow Creel, liberating Aradia. With Creel defeated, Alex introduces the survivors to the wonders of the Last Haven. The utopian city becomes a beacon of hope, guiding humanity towards a new era of peace and progress. If you've enjoyed this story and would like to hear some more, do let us know in the comments below. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe, it helps us a lot. Thanks.